Hi, welcome to CreepGame Assignment 3.08. Here are the requirements. We want to add client-server network communications to our game. We want to be able to provide a way to start the game in client mode or server mode. The server listens, the client connects, and if we start the game in non-dedicated server mode, it will play just as previously. In client mode, the game should not create any additional players until the server instructs it to. Messages sent between the client and server must be TCP for the important messages and UDP for the kinematic state updates. Messages do not have to be in binary. The client replaces one of the AI players on the opposing team. And from the server side, as the client connects, the AI player is not reset. The AI component should be removed and replaced with a network controller component. And then the client should be notified of his position and orientation. All players' positions and orientations should be kept in sync between the two peers. The game score should be kept in sync, and pause functionality should be disabled on both server and client, but only when connected. And RACnet is recommended for this assignment. Now, unfortunately, I'm a couple days away from finishing this code, so I'm just going to do a brief overview of what I've got so far. As you can see here, I have a netmaster component, and it's currently sending some spatial data. It's not enough yet, but this is where basically where I left off. I'm basically attempting to read this from the client side and react to it and get the position orientation stuff set up to get the networking communication. This is basically the beginning of passing data that I can try and replicate on or keep in sync on both machines, and that's where I am right now. I've got the blue player has some knowledge of the networking system, and if he's not networked, for example, he adds a finite state machine. If he's a client, he adds adds a keyboard. Um, if he is not networked at all, he'll do the AI machine setup and stuff like that. If he is a client, then the blue guy is actually the master, so it adds a master component. And if it's a server, then the blue guy is actually the slave, so he adds a slave component. GameNet is my, let's see, where's the .h file? Okay, so GameNet is my main class for the communications. I've got a number of methods in it so far. They're all implemented and working. They're not complete, but not a complete suite yet, but it's getting there. I've got some code that is basically server-side code. The server can basically receive and respond to certain messages. For example, when it gets a new incoming connection, it sends a packet back and says, well, tell me what version you are. Then I've got this response system hooked up, so it basically says, I don't know when the response to that message is going to come. When it does, here's how to handle it. So I can asynchronously wait for it. And basically down here, when it gets a message in that it doesn't recognize, it basically says, well, maybe it's in my response list. And these callbacks basically say, well, maybe one of my either a network master, a master component or a slave component is willing to handle this for me. Maybe it's a special message just for them containing position data and stuff like that. And let's see. Here's the code that encapsulates a response. I think I've only got one response right now, and that's basically for the version message coming back. It gets the response basically passes it off to the to this method on version. So it basically pulls the version out from that response and says, if the version isn't the version I'm expecting, then close the connection with that incoming connection. Otherwise, it logs that it's got a good version, so it accepts the connection. And I'm like I said, I'm hoping to finish this in a few days, and I'll update the video with actual gameplay and so on. when I do that. So that's my overview for what I've got so far for CreepGame Assignment 3.08. Thank you and goodbye.